And joining us now is Cherelle Griner. She is the wife of Olympian and WNBA star Brittney Griner, who was released from Russia in December of 2022. Cherelle, so nice to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning. It's so glad to be here with you today.
And what a day it is. I felt so emotional seeing those families embrace there with the prisoners. Tell us what it was like for you and Brittney to watch this landmark exchange go through.
I mean, honestly, it was pretty surreal for us. So we were getting ready for BG to play, in the Belgium game at the Olympics, and we heard the news and everything stopped for us. So it was no more about basketball in that moment. We just kind of went back to 2022 for us, and it was just reliving that moment. We were overwhelmed with joy and just relief, because for BG it's still, a everyday memory for her, what it was like to come back home. So we were so happy for the families to be reunited.
An everyday memory, and as you say, Brittney is in the Olympics right now. What kind of contact have the two of you had with these families over the years, and what would you tell these released Americans and their families having been through all of this?
So for me personally, the only contact I've ever had was with Paul Whelan's family, and they were honestly arms wide open the minute that BG was detained. His sister sent me plenty of emails just helping me through the process of what to expect, and I was so gracious for it because I had no idea what to expect. And as you heard, Paul Whelan was over there for 5+ years, so she was well versed at the time, and so it was, when I was lost, like, she had some type of insight. And for the families, I mean, this is one of the hardest parts now. So we think that, when they're gone, that's the hardest part. But when they come back, it's so much work to be done. So, tune the world out and just, love on them into their whole again, because they have went through, something that's unimaginable.
Yeah, as you point that out, it's the greatest hope to have your loved one back, but there are these trials that you go through when they're back in your arms. Talk a little bit about that and what you and Brittney went through as she came back to life. I think you expect, them to be back and you have them back again. But, this is a learning experience where you realize that their life will never be the same, just like the families, like our lives are never going to be the same again. So, just having that grace to be able to, be in the room with somebody that you once knew, and understanding that, we're all different people now, and giving them the space to reintroduce themselves, and so the families are different after all of those years. And also the wrongfully detained Americans are different as well. So, everybody deserves the grace to kind of relearn themselves and, reintroduce themselves as new whole people. And so it is a learning moment. Do not expect them to, to be the exact same person you last saw. They're not. But, if you do the, the loving with one another throughout this process, that they're back, you're gonna realize that, hey, I grew through the tragedy, and we're even better humans for it. And so it's a beautiful thing, when you just take the time to focus on the mental aspect. Absolutely, and we saw that love on display on the tarmac there. Talk about Brittney and her return, because she was subject to this lengthy debrief upon her return. They will be as well. What kinds of things will they be experiencing over the next few hours?
You're going to be experiencing a lot of individuals talking to you about how to best, help your person in that moment. And so you, like I just said before, sometimes we think that we can just go right back into integrating with, our loved ones as if nothing happened, but something did happen. And so they're giving you the tools and skill set from the family perspective on, how to approach them, how to make sure you're not triggering memories for them and things like that. And so it's extremely helpful. You really, truly don't know if you're gonna need these skill sets or not. However, you'd rather have them than not have them. So from a family perspective, I had a lot of trained personnel just sit me down and just kind of let me know, like, hey, these are, breathing exercises. Here's different things that you can do if you see this happening. And so it was extremely educational, honestly, in that moment for me, from everyone at the San Antonio base when BG returned. That was just helping me out with, you know, what to expect from someone who's experienced, you know, a great amount of trauma.
Well, since you and Brittney were last here with Robin, you've had your own news, your big changes in your life. You just welcomed your first baby. Your son was born less than a month ago on July 8th. Congratulations on that. And the Olympics is in the background. What is life like now for you a year and a half after Brittney was released?
Thank you so much. I mean, life is amazing right now. So, you know, it's an everyday thing, like, you know, the healing process. So I'm not going to tell you that, you know, we are still not dealing with the, you know, the aftermath of BG's wrongful detainment. However, you know, when you put in the work, like, you learn to find the joy in the little moments. And so having our son here is just, I mean, absolutely amazing. And then BG being able to, you know, be back playing basketball, something that she loves so much, has been absolutely amazing. You know, we went an entire year basically without, you know, something that we were used to doing, and so that's something that kind of went back normal for us. You know, basketball is a normal thing for us, so it's been awesome to see her play on this highest court. And then obviously I'm gonna reiterate, you know, our son, and he's literally perfect, so he's brought us so much joy that I could talk about him forever. So yeah,
I know the feeling. I have an 8-month-old, and I am so happy for both of you and him. I hope you're getting some sleep as well. Cherelle, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.